We are now going to move on and talk about driving way up north in some SUVs. This is Mahindra's Monastery Escape. It does of course involve all of that great driving, but also some stunning locations because it is way up there in Ladakh.
It's an opportunity of a lifetime for a driving enthusiast, the chance to drive in the scenic landscape of majestic and mythical Ladakh. One that very few would ever want to miss. And so I happily hopped along to join the 2014 Mahindra Monastery Escape in Leh, which was halfway through its 10-day expedition. The convoy, which had about 20 Scorpios, a couple of Thars and even a few Sangyong Rextons, had made its way up to Leh from Delhi through Manali, Jispa and Sarchu. M&M not only allows amateur drivers to enjoy the challenge of driving through some treacherous mountain terrain, but also lets them experience the reliability of its SUVs in these conditions. Fair enough to say the best part of the trip was still ahead with a visit to the breathtaking Pangong Lake. Now the drive to the lake does take a toll on both man and machine through some very difficult and unpaved terrain and takes roughly 5 hours. But the incredibly gorgeous vista makes the hilly ride worth it.
So this expedition has gotten just a little bit more exciting with the midnight start to our leg from Leh to Srinagar. We're going to be crossing Kargil as well as that dreaded Zozila Pass, but that's somewhere during the day, so we're going to be at peace for now. But driving through pitch black conditions, but with a convoy of 25 cars, should be okay with all our headlights on. Should be a lot more fun.
Sticking to a rather adventurous spirit, the team drove out at midnight and headed toward the state's summer capital, Srinagar. Though initially driving in the dark did generate some apprehension amongst the participants once we started, the convoy had a fairly smooth run all the way through, with the Mahindra Adventure team keeping the drivers alert. But travelling at night meant we missed some of the scenery around us. The sun did rise fairly early though, just before our first stop at Kargil, where a visit to the Dras War Memorial near Kargil was on the agenda. The journey from Leh to Kargil took us about 5.5 hours.
So after 8.5 hours of intense driving through the night, we've actually made our first pit stop here at the Dras War Memorial, and none of the participants wanted to miss this opportunity to pay their homage to the soldiers who laid down their lives during the Kargil war. And it does get a bit emotional in here when you hear the stories of the war and the kind of hardships that the soldiers had to face. It is quite emotional for all of us here, so we're going to be spending some time here.
Back on the road to Srinagar then, where we went past some spectacular looking valleys before we got to the dreaded Zozila Pass. Now this mountain terrain is quite narrow and covered with loose gravel, making for tricky driving conditions. And given that the convoy had been on the road for more than 12 hours, the drivers had to be fully alert. Some moments of frustration in between as a few trucks blocked parts of the pass, making the progress of the convoy quite difficult. But at the end, all drivers negotiated the terrain and managed to exit the pass without a hitch and enjoyed the rest of the drive to Srinagar. There was no shortage of drama or adventure in the Mahindra Monastery Escape, and all the participants became one big family through the 10-day expedition. But the driving experience around the hills that feel truly alive was what really made it extra special.